My name is Christina and I am the Daya behind the Cozy Knitter Yarns. And I just wanted to upload this really quick episode, not really a podcast, but just video, because it is December. And I was thinking way back in the summer when everybody started to release their mini skein calendars that it would be really fun to do something myself. And while I did release a mini skein calendar, I also offered the option of a 24 stripe advent skein. And the idea behind this skein was that every day you would sit down and just spend a few minutes, half an hour, to knit a stripe or two on a pair of socks. And then by Christmas morning you would have a self-striping pair of socks. And I was thinking, you know, I'll dye like 2-3 dozen of these and maybe they'll sell and it'll be really fun for a little knit along. And little did I know that you guys were going to love it so much. And there's actually over 400 knitters worldwide that received this skein. And today's December 4th. And I have had so much fun watching the Instagram feed and the hashtag and just seeing how everybody is doing their own little twists, the patterns you're choosing, and how much fun you're having knitting this up. So if you haven't seen the skein yet, I'm going to show it here. And this is the skein we're talking about. This is my 2018 Advent 24 stripe skein. And now this to you may not look like traditional Christmas colors, and I'll tell you that it wasn't necessarily intended to be a Christmas colorway. The Advent part of this skein is the fact that there's 24 different colors in the skein. But the actual color inspiration came from my childhood. And as a kid, we used to celebrate Christmas at my grandmother's house, my maternal grandmother. And if you've been watching my other podcast, Dye Another Day, which I co-host with Amanda of Yarn Enabler, you may have heard that my maternal grandmother is actually the one who taught me how to knit. And one of my fondest memories is that she had knit this granny square blanket for me, just like 8x8 Garter Ridge squares that were sewn together, and she had made me a blanket. I think she made all of us a blanket, all 14 grandchildren. But I really loved this blanket, and I just wanted to sort of capture that in a self-striping skein of yarn. So that's where the colors are coming from. It's my best recollection of what it looked like. I haven't lived in Denmark for 18 years. So yes, I am Danish. I didn't used to be. I am Danish, but I currently live in Canada. So it's been a while since I've actually seen the blanket. I haven't been back that frequently. But these are the colors that I sort of remember that was in that blanket. And there's two colors in here that are really special to me. There was one square in this blanket that was knit in this sort of shiny yarn. It must have had, I don't know what was, maybe a little bit of silk in it, but it had a little bit of shimmer to it, not Selena. And she didn't have enough yarn. She ran out about three quarters of the way through the square, and the 3/4 of the square was knit in this sort of really pale baby blue color, and then the other quarter of the skein was also knit in sort of the same shimmery yarn, but in this purpley color. So those colors are really special to me. And then I made sure that there was lots of like reds and green tones in here as well, some pinks and some blues, and then the yellow, the candle. So this skein is really special to me, and I thought by not making it overly Christmassy, it would be something that you could wear year round. Now, if you received one of these skeins, you would have noticed that I printed a little blurb about it on the inside of the ball band, and it also lets you know that when you untwist your skein, I've already split it into 2 halves. So there's actually, and the skein ended up being about 30 grams, So they're pretty decent sized skeins, but I've already split them into 2 separate skeins. So you can easily wind up each half, whether you wanted to knit 1 at a time or 2 at a time. But I thought with so many colors and some tones being similar, it may be really difficult to split it yourself. So I just, as I was reskeining it, would cut it when I was halfway through, and then you got 2 equal halves that should match 100%. And I've had a lot of feedback from you guys saying you really appreciated that. So today's December 4th. I am knitting my pair cuff down, and I decided to add a mini contrasting mini for the cuffs. So this is my pair. And I added, I don't know if it's showing up, but this is just a plain undyed skein of yarn, but it is gold Selena, so it has a little shimmer to it. And then I've knit my first 3 days. Pardon the manicure. So this is day 1, 2, and 3, and this red will be the 4th, so I'll sit down and knit that later this afternoone. And I have really enjoyed this, and so many of you guys have reached out to me and said you're really upset that you missed the listing and that you didn't get a skein. I tried to dye up as many as I possibly could in November, and then the postal strike happened, but I tried to get out as many as I could. Like I said, I expected to sell maybe 2 or 3 dozen of these, and I have shipped out well over 400. So it took me a little by surprise. So with that said, I have already put up the 2019 listing. Now there's none in stock, obviously, but just as people are checking in and it's fresh in your mind, you can go to the listing, which is on the website, which is thecozyknitter.com. And when you're on the listing, there's a little spot where you can put in your email address and then hit notify me. And then once the pre-order goes up, which will be sometime in July, I usually do a big Christmas in July thing, then an email will be fired out to everybody that has signed up there, and of course I'll post it everywhere else as well, but that way you'll make sure you get an email right to your inbox letting you know that the pre-order is up. I will be doing that one big pre-order in July, and then I'll probably do a couple of other ones later in the fall as I can work it into my dye schedule, because I do have a few things already in the works for next year, so I gotta work it in around shows and our crazy life schedule. But I will definitely be doing this in 2019. And thank you so much to everybody who purchased the skein, who's been participating and posting on Instagram and in the Ravelry thread. It really has meant a lot to me to see that you guys are so excited about this. Now, my other Advent offering this year was a mini skein calendar. And I only shipped out a few of these. It was a very limited run because they are quite time consuming. But I have decided that I was going to put mine into my Cozy Memories blanket, so I've only knit up 2 of them. I'm a day behind. But this here was the December 1st colorway. This is in my tweed base. These are not speckles. This is actually my tweed base. So for those of you who are part of it, spoiler alert, in Denmark, the Sundays of Advent are really, really special, and if you go to church you will know this as well, but the Sundays were really quite special and a big to-do and lots of hygge on Sundays, and so I wanted to do something to spoil everybody on Sundays, except I looked at the calendar wrong. So what I'd intended for you to open on Sundays is actually going to be your Saturdays. So if you opened your tweed skein, this is actually a 30-gram mini that is on all your Saturdays. And then the other days, and then also on the Saturdays, you're gonna get a specialty base. It's not gonna be the Bliss base, which is what the listing had originally said. The Bliss base will be in the other 6 days. This here is the first one on the Bliss base. This was December 2nd. And so for every Saturday, you can look forward to getting a little bit of a treat to try out some of my other bases. I just thought it'd be a little bit of fun, and like I said, those minis are actually 30 grams as opposed to 20 grams, which is what the minis for the other days will be. So I haven't gone far on my Cozy Memories blanket, and if I do actually knit one of these minis every day, it will more than double in size. This is all I've got. And I've actually already noticed an error. Apparently I wasn't, when I first started this blanket 2 years ago I think, I had knitted up using just some there's some Knitter's Pride Dreams DPNs that I had, and I wasn't quite happy with how it was coming out. It was a little too dense, so I splurged and I spoiled myself with a pair of these signature straights. They are a size 3mm. So I tore out the original blanket and then I reknit it, same colors, with the new needles. So these ones here were knit at a different gauge, and then I don't know what I was doing, but one is knit backwards. One is pointing the wrong way. This one, it's going the wrong way. Oh well. Oh well, this is gonna bother me. I'll never not know that this square is the wrong way, but it's okay. It's okay. Nobody else will notice. So I'm really excited to finally put some squares into this with my own minis. And if you, like I said, have followed Dye Another Day, you will know that all of the minis, other than my advents that are in this blanket, are actually minis that have been sent to me by my viewers and my customers. So that makes this just extra special. So I just wanted to hop on here and let you know a little bit about the Advent skein, where the colorway came from, and why I decided to do this in the first place. And so many of you have reached out to me already and asked if I will do it again next year. So absolutely. But that's about it for me today, and I can't wait to see what you knit up and hear more about how you celebrate this time leading up to the holidays. And please do use the hashtag when you share it on Instagram, because I really do enjoy watching and following along. It helps me get to know you and connect with my customers and all of those on the other side of the screen. Merry Christmas.